75 years old. I have never met anyone with a more voracious sexual appetite, and that little dude could go the distance.
I had a 75-year-old bending over a table in Rocky Point on the patio facing the beach. I had to look back at him and say, my back's hurting a little bit, baby. It's like, he's 75, I'm 41. My back hurting is what ended the session.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily?
You're going to be shocked, but I'm going to say the shocking.
You're right. The shocking stories of sugar dating.
Oh, gosh.
What's going on? This is going to be a fun show.
Yes, it will be.
For a lot of reasons, but...
Back one of our pros.
Yeah, but I've got so many good submissions for our party already. We just announced it. It's going to be in July 12th, 13th, and 14th. If you guys haven't heard, you're not listening to our show, but we are having a Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast cast and crew party the weekend of July 12th through 14th. We've got 2 private suites side by side, so they'll commingle, for the Hootie and the Blowfish and the Collective Soul concert.
Summer camp with trucks.
Summer camp with trucks.
I'm not sure what that's all about.
I mean, right in the middle of summer, it's just fun. Well, it's because
camp with trucks.
They were touring, and then all of a sudden they were on a bus or, touring from location to location, and then they needed some bigger buses, and then they needed some trucks, and then they go, this just feels like a summer camp with trucks.
Semi-trucks.
Now it's big semi-trucks because they're huge, but... It's going to be a fun concert, even if you don't even know the band. Look them up. I mean, I know their biggest album was 30 years ago, but it's still really good. That's just part of the party. We're going to have a nice mixer at the W.
Bad Brad is going to get us a party suite.
We've got confirmed Bad Brad. We've got confirmed Short King.
Yes.
I mean, you're going to party with some characters.
Dr. Charles.
Dr. Charles is coming. Podcast Fanboy.
Yup.
Will be there, along with many others.
Somebody named $2.
He was a guest on our show. Really nice guy from Chicago.
I don't think we called him $2 on the show, but
he was Jack.
Yes, he likes to hand out $2 bills.
Yeah. So we have got a lot of good guests coming. Some old ones, some new ones. Matter of fact, our guest today is going to be at the party, and we're excited to have her. You guys are definitely going to want to meet her. So it's really easy. You just go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, click on contest, and it'll take you to all the information about the party. Fill out, it's like a little survey question, and it helps us. It gives us kind of some, you let us know kind of some of your crazy sugar dating stories, what you'd like to hear on the show, how you found the show. And it's catered to help us a little bit, where we can put together subjects that you guys want to hear. So you fill that out. If you are a Patreon member, make sure to select that and give us your username, because you will have priority over the public. Now, Lily, how much does it cost to become a Patreon member?
It costs $0.
Becoming a Patreon member is free. That Patreon group's a lot of fun. Now, for you to have the most fun is to buy into one of our membership tiers. And our basic VIP membership tier is only $10 a month, and you get so much for that. It opens up the complete site, and you get to see all kinds of fun photos, announcements, videos. You get to go into the community chat, which is a lot of fun. Getting some interesting things there, right?
Speaking of Bad Brad.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what he said we should call my new house?
What was it, the hen house or something?
The hen house? No. He calls me Den Mother.
Den Mother.
Not Hen Mother.
Oh, okay. So
he said we should call the new palace the truck stop.
Oh, that's right.
Which I thought was really clever. Good one, Bad Brad.
Lily's the one who gives out nicknames to everybody, but apparently Bad Brad does too.
He does. And he's really good at coming up with the catchy nicknames. Love it.
So you guys will get to meet the now infamous Bad Brad. He's not so bad. He's really cool, actually.
He's pretty bad.
He's actually getting a suite, I believe, at the W that we partied in last year. Had a pool table and a nice balcony view and some privacy. So.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it was really good. So you guys definitely want to join us. We want you to come. We want to meet our fans. And we've got more space available this time than we ever have. So your chances of being selected are very good because we're trying to open it up to as many of our listeners as we can. All right. Anything else before we get on with this very fun show that we're about to have? I mean, it's already fun, but we got to get rid of, got to get all that stuff out of the way.
Let's introduce Desiree.
All right. Well, Desiree was on our show a few weeks ago, and she doesn't know this because I haven't told her, but I have gotten so many messages through Instagram and through our website of you guys' thoughts and appreciation of her show. And when she wanted to come back because some things have changed for Desiree, we said, come on back. We got to hear them. Desiree, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back.
Now, you just had some eye surgery, which is kind of interesting. So you're kind of making your way through this area. But what has been going on otherwise? I read your email to Lily, and my jaw almost dropped. Well, my jaw did drop because you have found some success that you weren't expecting. And we're going to talk about that and a lot of other things.
Yes, I have found some success that I was not expecting. And by success, I mean about kind of obtaining that nice, robust monthly allowance. I know when I was on the show before, I mentioned being a black sugar baby, specifically in Scottsdale with my demographic that I focus on, kind of getting these more questionable or sketchy monthly allowance offers or even these PPM offers that were just really basement level nonsense.
Yeah, it was almost insulting.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, it was insulting.
I mean, beyond insulting. Yeah. I clutch my pearls. So...
oh, my.
Okay, exactly.
I love it.
So there was I mentioned there was a billionaire that I was kind of entertaining off and on.
With a B?
With a B.
You met a billionaire.
Yep, North Scottsdale area. Mm-hmm.
On Seeking?
Yep, on Seeking.
Wow.
And actually, I don't know if I mentioned it in the email, but he was actually the first connection I made when I got back on Seeking when I moved from Texas to Phoenix. So I originally connected with him. He was looking just for a travel-only sugar baby. So just someone to go with him on his work trips and this and that. So nothing, no monthly allowance, no regular anything. Just when you're with him traveling, then there's lots and lots of gifts and things are being taken care of and paid for. So then what happened was after that kind of happened, this guy's an older guy and he...
Meaning how old?
Well, I found out that he's 70.
Okay.
He said he was like 65 or so, but I did some digging. He's actually
I've had a couple of those who fudge their age.
Yeah, he's actually 70, which, hey, okay. So it turned out he started having some health issues, so he wasn't able to travel as much, but he expressed concern and kind of losing me out of the orbit and wanting to kind of keep me in the ball game, as they say. So then he asked me to go out to eat. We went to a nice dinner, very, very nice. And I discovered this wine cab called Camus.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Delish.
Yeah, I've sampled that. It's very good.
Yeah, I felt like I was officially into the world at that point. I had a couple glasses of it and was like, oh, this is fantastic. So basically the point of this dinner was for him to tell me, hey, I'm sorry that I'm not traveling as much as I usually do. And I know that the activity between the two of us isn't quite to the level of your liking and you're feeling kind of pushed aside. So I want to go ahead and just offer a monthly allowance. When I travel, When I see you, but we're just going to go ahead and do $5,000 a month on the 15th of every month. We'll just have it automatic. And I was kind of keeping a normal face expression. Now, maybe for some people out there, because I've listened to the podcast and listened to some very exorbitant amounts, but for a monthly allowance of that range to where technically I may or may not see him ever, that's kind of like the sugar baby dream in a way.
It is.
Very minimal interaction. And there is a downside to that because I actually do like him. I actually do like our times together. I do like the time we spend, the things he introduces me to, and of course the private jet travel. So I kept telling him, I was like, yeah, just keep me in mind. And so he really did keep me in mind. So we've started this allowance. And since I do have a regular job and, I'm able to handle my own finances, this is helping me get ahead on some debt, pay down some credit card stuff and help some family and, just do some stuff for some other folks that I know that I deal with who are, needing assistance. So I kind of try to spread the wealth. And actually my friends and family kind of joke if I give them something nice or I pay for something, they're like, which SD is this?
Nice.
So they do know about the lifestyle then.
Oh, I had to because they were just like, wait a minute. They saw the car I was driving and all that. They're just like, wait a minute. So you've been in Phoenix for 2.2 hot seconds and now you're freaking Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I was like, no, Housewives of Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Arcadia.
That's right.
That's where we're at.
So that's equivalent to a $60,000 a year job. Actually, it's more because
the
taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And when I get it, I just pay bills or send it straight to credit cards.
Yeah.
So I don't have to concern myself with the wealth billing element just yet. Just at this point, just kind of taking care of some things, paying my car, just sending it right where it needs to go for right now. But the requirements, the amount of time he wants to see me is very limited. And I would say in a way that is kind of a downside because I definitely would like to spend more time with him. So I hope that when his health improves, he likes to joke that he's like, well, if you just hang in there, I'll be dead soon. And then,
Oh my goodness.
and you'll have a nice little golden parachute. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, so it can be like a Lifetime movie where I'm at the will reading and they're like, the entire estate goes to sugar baby Desiree. And then I have all the kids trying to come after me and trying to kill me. No, thank you, sir.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention who really, really, really was intrigued by Desiree's episode and who would love the opportunity to meet you and who said, feel free, Lily, to pass along my information if she has any time. And that would be Podcast Van Boy.
Oh, Van Boy.
Podcast Van Boy. Now, I believe he's...
Fan Boy or Van Boy?
Van Boy.
Yeah, because he's on the Patreon.
Yes. But he's going to be next episode next week. So you guys haven't heard from him yet.
Well, remember, by the time this comes out...
Next episode 3 weeks ago. I don't know. I can't keep it
Lily
straight.
doesn't know how to talk in the past.
But you guys haven't heard him in real time. But yet you have.
Yes, because it's already come out.
Put you in our time machine. And so you know who Podcast Van Boy is. Mm-hmm. And he's a heck of a nice guy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
You
ready
would
to talk
enjoy
to
him.
Van. Actually, I think we've already been communicating on Patreon. I just don't think maybe we realize who the other...
The nice thing is her height.
Okay.
You know?
Yes. Because he's super tall.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, he's 6'6".
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
See, I could make a van work.
You
Hear me, Van Boy?
There
Let's
you
do
go.
this van thing,
There
baby.
you
Come
go.
on. I'm ready.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with him when he was in town. He actually stayed with me, and then we went to dinner and a comedy show, and he gave me an edible. It got me all fucked up.
Oh, edibles are the best. That's I love.
Gosh.
I can't smoke because I cough, but the edibles,
You know, I was a bad thing because I did admit to driving home from that. And the driving was fine. I had no problem. It's just my sense of direction was a little bit askew. Like I knew I was headed to my house, but if you had asked me right then, which way is north? Which way is south? I couldn't have told you.
Oh my goodness, I have a couple of those situations.
Okay, Miss Desiree.
Yes.
Here's something I'm really wanting to ask you, and I'm really curious because you've alluded a couple of times that you were perhaps back in the past maybe a bit of an ugly duckling. Or you've had some kind of transformation.
Yes.
I can't imagine you.
I'll show you
not
before
being
and after.
Ultra hot because you are drop dead gorgeous.
Thank you.
But tell me about this because you keep hinting at it.
You know, and honestly, and actually, you could even go to my Instagram and see that too. But I'll show you my phone afterwards. I'll show you before and after. But, honestly, I guess it's not necessarily an ugly duckling transition. And anyone who knew me listening would be like, here we go, not the ugly duckling transition. Like, it for real. So basically, it's more of like a weight loss / kind of appearance change, changing of the hair, changing of the style, changing of just really overall. I feel like I kind of aged myself beyond my years just with the way I styled myself. So I actually just took some time, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but I lost about 100 pounds.
That's a lot.
Wow.
So
How did you do it?
Significant.
Let's hear it.
You're like, I cut off my left arm.
I had a lot of vigorous sex.
No, that'd be nice. But see, since I'm dealing with these older guys, it's like 3 pumps and you're done. So. But that can be a plus. I'll touch on that later. No, just honestly, I actually have this is non-sexy, but I have an acid reflux and like a GERD issue.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't eat certain things. I can't drink certain things. And so as I've gotten older, it's just kind of gotten worse. I can't eat late. So
I know that road.
So it just kind of naturally produced this weight loss effect. So I had a ton of people coming up to me saying, hey, are you on Ozempic? Did you get weight loss surgery? Did you do this? And I was like, no, actually just apparently being old is all it takes. I can have drinks, but I can't that's why I have the edibles, because I can't drink to the level I'd like to drink. So,
okay.
It's almost like forced intermittent fasting.
Absolutely. Actually, that's exactly what I eat small meals throughout the day. And so then over time, I lost probably about 5 or 6 pounds a month for about a year and some change. And so now it's just kind of been helpful to keep the weight down. But it also has allowed kind of the skin to kind of glow and the eyes to be bright. I did get some pretty major work done on my teeth when I turned 40. I got a full mouth restoration, full veneers.
Yeah, a beautiful smile is, I mean, it's a gateway right there.
How painful was that?
Oh my God, I almost died.
Really?
I can't even imagine.
And I'm so mad at the world and people out there. And that's why when I get on podcasts like this, I always try to be honest. That's like, if we get a chance, I'm going to talk about this PRK thing that I got to my eyes. When I got my teeth done, I mean, that's probably the most painful thing.
Really?
I cried day and night in the dark. I popped pills. I mean, it was probably the most awful. They had to drill my gums back, drill my teeth down. It was probably the most painful thing that's ever happened. And the results are so fantastic. I'm so happy. But I mean,
getting there was tough.
it was bad.
So
I've had a lot of dental work. Yeah, it is pretty painful, but it sounds like yours was.
Yeah, because that was plus regular dental work, 3 dental implants, regular fillings, root canals.
Scorpio did that same thing, got his entire mouth replaced, and he lost so much weight and he lost so much muscle, and he just had the longest recovery.
Because you can't eat, because I mean, even when the wind blows, it hurts, let alone eat a meal.
Well, I know this is not a sexy subject, but you mentioned with the heartburn and GERD, and as we get older, it seems to creep up, just as part of an aging process, right? I've battled it for 10 years. Let me tell you how I finally got rid of it, because I was taking, the medicine.
Omeprazole?
Yeah, because I have all those things.
Yeah, I was taking it daily, and I was still battling it. So Alejandra, my sugar baby, challenged me to do the 75 hard program.
Okay.
And basically it was working out twice a day, once indoors, once outdoors, no alcohol for 75 days. You had to stick to some kind of a diet, and we chose like a carnivore diet, but I couldn't do just meat. It was killing me, so I had to add a little bit of vegetables and carbs in there just to maintain my sanity. And then you had to drink a gallon of water a day. And that's it.
As he sits here with a 44-ounce thirst buster.
I'm not on it right now. So anyway, some amazing things happened. I lost, what did I lose? 25 pounds.
Yeah, you sure did.
And my heartburn and GERD completely went away and has not come back.
Oh.
Now, granted, if I do start eating really spicy foods late at night, if I'm drinking more than I should, I feel it start creeping back, and then I just cut that back. But for the most part, I'm completely off all medication, all heartburn medication. I do take some daily probiotics. But here at 56 years old, I finally got rid of it. And I thought I was just going to be cursed with it for the rest of my life. It is, if you haven't had it, I mean, if you've ever woken up in the middle of the night, your throat is on fire and you can't go back to sleep for an hour, hour and a half till it calms down. It's the worst. It's not sexy, but I got rid of it.
I had it really bad when I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Dear God.
So that's how I got rid of it. May not work for everybody, but that worked for me. Anyway, you brought that up, and I thought, I guarantee a lot more of my listeners battle with it than you would probably think.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, Anyway, you lost 100 pounds and then
Yeah, and that was about a year ago. So
Yeah.
I've pretty much been
100 pounds. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
And
I mean-
I gained some during COVID. You know how during COVID everybody got, not
Yeah.
everybody, but most people I know got a little bit beside themselves. So some of that was kind of backing off the COVID nonsense and then just moving on and being busy, but no special tactics or strategies or anything going on right now. Just trying to kind of keep my head above water. Here in Phoenix, there's, everybody here is just kind of has a different vibe, and there's a lot of people maintaining activity, and to be honest, since it's so hot, don't want extra weight on you because that just makes it even worse. So, but it does kind of make it hard sometimes since I've been going out on all these nice expensive dinners, and then I already know I can only have so much to eat. So my dogs are having filet mignon every other night. So I'm like, here's your Chateaubriand, Reg.
Oh, let me tell you the best place to eat Chateaubriand. It is at Casino, Arizona.
Oh, at the
Choya, is
Yeah.
it called Choya Prime Steakhouse?
yeah.
And it's affordable, and it is like eating heaven. So good.
Yeah. We've gone there on a double date a few times.
We need to go there again.
I know.
Let's take Desiree.
Yeah. So Desiree, you're coming to the party.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Like I just told my sister about it too. She
Yeah.
was like, is that the podcast? I said, yes, and I'm on the podcast. She's like, no, you're not. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I am.
So what? So I know a lot of people are a little apprehensive. I've had somebody, matter of fact, I was messaging with somebody today on Instagram, and she's like, well, I'm not a big fan of Hootie. What are some of the songs you recommend? So I sent her a couple of their biggest hits of all time. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a small part of the whole thing. It's a whole weekend of fun.
Oh my gosh.
And just hanging out with other people that have the same mindset is not only refreshing, but just, it's like meeting a whole new family that you didn't know you had.
Right. Even just
Right?
interacting on the Patreon,
Yeah.
just being a Patreon member and being active there. I almost feel like the Patreon system, I feel like it almost can't keep up now with the activity that's going on inside you guys' account, kind of going in and doing the messages and the chats, and there's messages flowing left and right, and it
Yeah.
feels like a safe space to, I used to kind of block my face out. Now I don't care. I'm like, whatever.
I noticed that,
Well.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, find me, baby, find me.
I noticed that a few people were like,
Oh, wow.
I don't care. This is family. They can see who I am.
Yeah, and
which
you
is
can ask
interesting.
questions, and then, other people asking questions. I think it's just going to continue to take off.
Yeah.
And I always keep my eye on it to see if there's any new questions or any new photos or anything like that.
Well, the really cool thing is, as we get guests in town, a lot of times we'll go out to dinner and we'll have an extra spot or two. And I'm going to start throwing those opportunities to our local Patreon members. I know that doesn't do anything for you guys that are not in the Phoenix area, but we have a lot of people in the Phoenix area that are members. And there's just times that you want to come party with us tonight, or, it's sometimes short notice things, right?
Yeah, and that's perfect for me
Yeah.
because I'm all about short
Because
notice.
I was podcast Van Boy's date. She would have made a better option, right?
Absolutely. Well, no offense, podcast Van Boy. You were awesome.
So I wanted to make a quick mention about the age appropriate. I think I mentioned that in my my email. I've noticed as I've been listening to some of the episodes, and I've been listening to those extra sugars. So there's been a lot of sugar babies writing in saying, oh, I'm 35, I'm 45. I feel like I'm too old. Can I be a sugar baby?
Oh,
and I just want to
that subject
scream
is,
through the radio.
Yeah, so often. I'm almost on a daily basis. Am I too old to be a sugar baby?
And I feel like the responses so far have been okay, but they haven't been robust enough. So as a 41, almost 42-year-old age-appropriate sugar baby, I wanted to make sure to say to all the 30-something, 40-something, 50-something, whatever something sugar babies, potential sugar babies listening, you got to understand, you're in the niche. You're in the hot market. I talk via text through through Patreon. I have a few Instagram. Some folks have found me. I don't know. Maybe they knew somehow. They knew it was me. I don't know. So I've been kind of having some conversations with some younger sugar babies, and they're having some issues that we, and by we, I mean those of us in our 40s, don't have, because we're in this little niche market where there's not as many. And so when you go to Seeking and you look through some of the sugar daddy profiles that are in the age range I'm looking at, which is usually upper 50s, even in the 60s, and of course with the billionaire 70, but that's because he's a billionaire, so let's not get it twisted here. The billionaire can be 100 and I'll be right there on my knees, whatever. So
he could be in a wheelchair and on life support.
Look, I will go to nursing school so I can be right there certified. So what I wanted, so on these sugar daddies profiles, they say clearly, they say on there, I don't want anyone in their 20s. I really don't want anyone in their 30s. I want somebody in their 40s, someone who can, and I think you mentioned it, you didn't say you wanted someone in your 40s, Marcus, but you did say that you appreciate how you and Lily can kind of have these cultural references.
I can have conversations with Lily and we have a lot of fun. I could never have these with Alejandra.
Yeah, and so there's
She just doesn't get it.
There's a lot of sugar daddy profiles where they expressly state on the profile, "Hey, a woman that's in her 20s or 30s, I just can't even deal. I need someone that I can bring around my family, my friends, my business partners, who we're going to have things in common with." And so I just want those sugar babies out there who are either considering going on Seeking or they have any sort of hesitation. Please don't have any hesitation, because if you're in your 40s, you're in the sweet spot. I get messages all the time because I've specifically noted in my profile kind of the niche age range that I'm looking at. I do look at slightly older. So those guys are thrilled to be entertaining a sugar baby who's in their 30s or 40s or 50s because our age makes sense for them. There's still an age gap of sometimes almost 20 years, but they feel more comfortable with it. They feel like your company suits them best, fits them best. You're happier, they're happier. And it does make a lot more sense, especially when you're out in public. Even with the party, seeing the Hootie and the Blowfish, I was floored seeing how many people on the poll said they didn't know who,
I know.
And I was like, that's Darius Rucker. He has a super successful country music career on top of that. Plus, huge fan. So anyway, but I just wanted to make sure I said that before we ran out of time today, that if you're in your late 30s or 40s at all, please know that there's a niche market for you, and please take advantage of it, and do not continue to write in asking if you're too old, because I'm here to tell you, no, you're not too old, and you're in the perfectly desirable range, and you will get a lot of traffic and a lot of activity. So do not be afraid.
So this, we have the stigma, and I've been on 3 podcasts as guest lately, and I've got some links to those on our Instagram page. So one of the biggest questions that comes up and one of the biggest misconceptions is it's just a bunch of old men dating some 20-year-olds.
Yeah,
that's what everybody thinks it is.
And that makes sense because that's how they portray it on the movies and the TV, just the general social image of it all. When in reality, I'm in my 40s and I get communication from men of all different ages, but the age gap isn't usually too insane. But I think what a lot of the public or society misses is that the women's participation in it, we choose to some degree what age gap is most comfortable for us. So that old adage of, the 20-year-old and the 100-year-old, that's still out there for damn sure. But in reality, heck, Lily, you and Trucker, you guys are like 8 years maybe? 7?
Yeah, 8 years apart.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of normal couples that have that age range.
I can attest to what you're saying because I started sugar dating at 52 years old, I believe, and I never had any trouble meeting
you probably
people.
fit right into a nice niche that you didn't even know was out there.
Yeah.
Well, when you keep yourself, and Lily tries very hard with her style and the way she looks, and so she puts in a lot of effort, and the older guys appreciate it. And I'm telling you, she gets swamped, absolutely swamped with messages because the guys are like, oh my God, not only do you look great, but you're age appropriate.
And her mentality and her approach is also very, she has that independent and successful way about her, but then she's also got that generous, giving, considerate way. And so that's a big part of it too. I think some people focus so much on the age when in reality, and I had to learn the hard way too, it's the mentality. They're looking for. So I've heard on the podcast and then on some different TV shows that some of the older guys are like, well, we want girls in their 20s because they're easier and they're more compliant. They're more peaceful. They don't give us so much trouble. They haven't gotten up to the age where they're bitter. So when they find women my age or Lily's age and they find that, wait a minute, they're not bitter.
No, not at all.
Wow. And they suck dick?
Hey, here's
We're winning, baby.
That's funny. Here's a question I get a lot when I'm a guest on other people's podcast. We don't like that term sugar baby. It's condescending. What about your older sugar babies? Do they call themselves sugar babies? You know, you're laughing. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I say SB.
SB?
Just to kind of keep it to a point.
Right.
But
I tell them it's just slang.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
initially I felt like there was a stigma to it, but Trucker and I just joke about it all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I call him Trucker Daddy.
Yeah, I think it is,
Trucker
something to kind of make light of. I think that especially when you're dealing with folks in the world, I don't have any problem at all using the terminology. And actually, even I joke, even when I actually just recently told my dad about it when he came down. He was the one who drove me to the vision surgery. But I think I was loose on the Valium or something. But I was like, Dad, I have a couple of sugar daddies, and they're older than you, Pap. And he was like, oh, shit. And I was like,
How did Pap react to this?
That was great. I just told a little about it. Wow. He was like, okay. He actually thought it was kind of interesting. So
I have a funny story that just happened. One of our guests, Jay. Oh, and Jay's going to be at the party, and he's looking.
Yes, Jay will
gonna
be there.
He's looking forward to
Yeah.
it. He's going to be doing the photography. He photographed a lot of the girls last time, and the pictures came out great. He's actually bringing a better setup even this time because now he knows he's the photographer. But so he loaned me his Cybertruck. He was flying back to Colorado, and he left it at my house. Said, "Yeah, you guys can drive it." So Alejandra, she drove it down and showed her mom, and then the girl that she used to nanny for, and all the stuff. The girl's like 4 years old. I think she's 4. So anyway, this was a few months ago. Alejandra goes down to visit her mom, and they were cleaning the house where it's a little complicated, but the lady that she was nannying for, she has a new boyfriend. So they were cleaning the new boyfriend's house. He asked Alejandra, the little girl said that you had a sugar daddy that gave you a Cybertruck. And he asked Alejandra straight to her face, "Do you have a sugar daddy?"
oh, shit.
I do, but he didn't give me a Cybertruck.
Oh my gosh, she just froze up. Said no. Anyway, she didn't know what to say. Like,
I don't know where she got that idea.
yeah, it was.
Un papa de azúcar.
And like, she's like, so she comes home. She goes, "You're not going to believe this. This guy, her boyfriend, asked me if I have a sugar daddy, and he says that he said it. He said that the little 4-year-old said that. She doesn't know what a sugar daddy is.
Maybe she does.
Where would she get that information?
Kids are smart.
I think that the boyfriend suspected it and he just blamed it on the 4-year-old. But how would the 4-year-old would know that?
Well, she's been to your house, this 4-year-old.
The word sugar daddy never came up.
I know, but she probably said, "Mom, Alejandra's
They're just
boyfriend
probably assuming it
is
since
a
I'm 30
really
years
old
older.
guy."
It has to be an assumption.
Really old. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
gosh.
I did tell you guys that she finally came out to her mom and told her.
She had to.
The
I mean, you
situation.
have to at a certain point.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
I'm not even as far in as she is, but after a certain while, people are just like, wait a minute.
And you've,
What's going on, baby?
I know, because they're like, this is interesting. All your school's being paid for, your rent's being paid for. Do you have a sugar daddy?
And, I found that people are actually more understanding than I would have expected. They
It's
honestly are just like,
it's
whatever you wanna do.
becoming more normalized, especially among the younger who need that financial assistance just getting out of school and getting started. And actually, it's not, how would I say, it's not a bad way to go.
I would say for either party.
Yeah,
it's not
because
hurting anyone.
well,
If both of your
the networking
expectations-
opportunities that are afforded to you, the mentorship that some of these sugar daddies can give to you is invaluable. I mean, people have started companies, started businesses, launched their careers through the people they meet. And why wouldn't you want to meet an older, successful guy? I think we're making some headway and some progress in this whole
Unless he's
stigma thing.
very far on the spectrum.
Which Which we all meet people that are on the spectrum.
Oh, goodness.
It doesn't matter what type of dating you're going to be doing. You're going to meet people on the spectrum. But you have a better opportunity, I think, in the sugar dating world. I think.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I think your odds are better.
I mean, I'm in love living at the truck stop.
The truck stop. That
truck
is a
stop's-
great name
that's a
for your
great
little
name.
bungalow.
The truck stop.
I think it's a great name.
Thanks, Bad Brad.
Yeah. How's the truck stop going? You guys have been doing a
It's
lot of work on it.
Coming along, yes. We just
I haven't been there in a while.
been working on landscaping and planting and just little things that need to be renovated. And the fireplace is almost done. Well, the fireplace is done. It's just the walls adjacent need to be plastered and painted. And yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. It already is.
We thought about having a pre-party over at the truck stop, but I think that was a little too much pressure to get it done in time. And the parking and all that, your neighbors.
I was worried about my neighbors.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind the pre-party right before we head to the concert being hosted there because people are relatively calm and quiet that early on. But I think if we were going into the wee hours, things would get a little loud and rowdy.
Yeah, because last time we had the pre-party at my house, which we probably we'll probably maintain almost the exact same schedule. And then the party bus picked us up and I'll tell you what, the party bus to the concert and home was an event all to itself.
Yes.
You
It was
would
a
agree?
wild ride.
We have a lot of great videos from the party bus.
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
The podcast episodes surrounding that time really make it sound great. And I think that's why a lot of people like myself, when we started watching the podcast, we started listening to the podcast that was around that time, listening to those earlier episodes. So it's cool that it's already coming back around time for another party. So I know you guys are going to see a lot more Patreon activity, especially now with people interested in that.
Yeah, but what I was getting to is once the party bus brought us back to the house, the party just continued until the wee hours of the morning. It wasn't loud or anything, but
It wasn't loud.
no.
Trucker and I are old as fuck. We went home.
Yeah, you guys went home, went to
There's only
bed.
so much we can do. So much partying we can hang with.
Well, we had Amy and Kevin and Vivian. They snuck out of the concert a little early and then came back to my house and smoked a huge doobie. And we were just totally fried when we got home. They
Are
were
Kevin
just baked.
and Vivian still doing long distance?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
she's in
Washington. Yeah, she's in the East
he's
Coast.
here.
Okay.
Yeah. But unfortunately, he's going to be out of the country, I think,
Yeah, he'll be out of the country.
during the party. So, we
So
won't see
he's one of the
Kevin, but-
few OG party daddies that won't be there. I've heard back, I think, from everyone else that they are on board, except our guy from, where is he from? The guy with the
Cleveland?
music studio
Yeah, in Cleveland.
venues.
Yeah.
He's just opening another concert hall.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's been really busy. So he hasn't confirmed about availability yet, but
Okay.
almost everyone else has.
Wow. Yeah, so you'll get to meet. I'm just thinking back of the guys that were at the party. Every one of them was very respectful, and every one of them is so diverse in the things that they've done in life and the experiences they've had in life.
And you can tell by the podcast.
Yeah.
There are different podcast episodes too, kind of.
I had such a great time just meeting these men, talking to them, hearing some of their stories about business, and then hearing their stories about meeting these girls on sugar dating sites. And years like, you have some of the similar experiences, and then some of them you're going, okay, you need to tell us about that one on the show because that's a crazy ass story, right?
And speaking of crazy, that Splenda Daddy was awful.
Oh, what'd you think of that?
Goodness, because that one
That's
was
another
after I was
one.
on before, and I was like,
That's another one I've got a lot of emails.
got my pearl specifically to clutch.
There you go.
Well, I think it was important for us to bring him on.
It was.
Just to kind of expose what. Oh, I was listening to. I saw a video on YouTube the other day, and it was the same type of deal. Now, this was a guy. He was 31, good-looking guy, but he admitted, I go on to Seeking, and here's how I pick up the girls for nothing. And he exposed all of his secrets. Matter of fact, he was being interviewed by Corey Wayne I'll have to.
Oh, so it's something we could find.
Yeah,
if we wanted
I'll
look
have
it
to
up.
pull
Okay,
up
I'll
the
have to
episode. Matter of fact, I typed in I typed something to do with sugar dating or sugar daddy, something into YouTube, and that video came up, and I watched the whole thing. It's really interesting, and they actually had seminars. A guy wrote a book on how to basically sleep with all these girls for nothing.
Well, that was his point.
Seeking.
Splendid
And
Daddy
same
said,
thing,
I
yeah.
am a pickup artist.
Yeah, and it's happened to me. I've
And
definitely been caught up
Girls
several times
should know
for
that
free.
we are out there. And so he's like, I think this will be really interesting for your female listeners.
Oh, it was. I listened to the episode probably 3 times.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to find somebody, but I almost feel like even if a girl had some sex with me and didn't expect anything, I still want to give her something, just something of value, whether it's money or advice or an opportunity or something. I don't want it to be one-sided, even if she's asking for nothing, even if I met her on Bumble or Tinder or something. I just feel like, hey, it's a two-way transaction, What can I help you out with? I don't
Be careful with that word transactional.
Yeah, right.
What do you guys think about Millionaire Match?
Did you sign up for that?
Yes, I did. Let me think.
Because I'm
I
on it, and it's been going pretty well.
Wait a minute. I do remember you getting a few messages.
Yeah, so my little old man is the one who told me about Millionaire Match. And when we were talking about exploring other means of sugar dating, I signed up for that. The guy that I met from Los Angeles,
Oh, that's right.
remember? He wanted me to go for a walk
Yeah,
in the dark on our first date. And I was like, what?
He wanted to walk 2.5 miles
To a
one
restaurant.
way to
Yeah.
a restaurant on our very first date.
Yeah.
And it was hot too, I think, wasn't it?
I think it was spring, so it wasn't
Okay.
too bad.
But still, like,
But I was,
Lily's like, I don't want to go on a 2.5 mile walk
No.
on my first date.
yeah. And he said, oh, come on, don't be a fun sucker. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. But I shared my location with Marcus.
just to be on the safe
And
side. Yeah.
he ended up being a really great guy. And we had a really great date. But things could have gone terribly,
He
tragically
made like
wrong.
high-end furniture or something,
Yeah,
didn't
he has furniture warehouses all over the country. And he was really wonderful. He just didn't have a lot of time to spend with me. And that was we had no arrangement. Although he did sell me a truck that I was able to flip. So
Oh, that's right.
that was nice. But that just was because he was getting rid of it. And I said,
he gave her a truck for
like $5,000.
5 or 6.
And I sold it for 17.
Oh, wow.
But
That
of
was
course,
a good deal.
trucker,
it's a great flip.
it had quite a few issues.
Okay, so you were able to put
Not
a
as
little work
expensive
into it.
of issues as he thought it had, which is why he smoked me such a great deal. But trucker helped me get it all fixed up, and then I flipped it for 17. Yeah.
Pretty nice. Yeah.
That's what I did with I had an assistant that I'd met on Seeking. She was on some of my earlier episodes. Matter of fact, she was on episode 32, one of our most popular episodes. And if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it for new people. It's basically a question and answer about sugar dating it was a sound producer in the studio. And she started asking us questions about all these things that she didn't know
that's one of my
about
favorite
sugar dating.
episodes, too. Yeah.
And we're just like, hey, why don't you just sit in and we'll just answer all these questions. And it turned out to be a fantastic episode. So I recommend that. And matter of fact, that sound producer has just come back. I got a call this week, and she's just been rehired by Pod Populi to do some management. I don't know, but you're going to start seeing her in here. It was a great episode. But where I was going with this was, like Trucker, I like helping people out with their vehicle situation, because my assistant, she had a car and she wanted to sell it, and there was some issues, and I ended up paying for all this things to get fixed so she could sell it, and
Yeah.
she made some pretty good money
Trucker
on it.
is the best ever. He noticed that my kids' SUV that they drive the grandkids around all the time, that the tires were getting kind of bald. And he just took it down, got all the tires replaced, and bought him some really nice tires.
Probably better than the original ones.
Yeah, and they were so grateful.
Tell Trucker my tires are looking a little
let him
dicey
know.
these days. I'll put them on the Patreon. I'll be like, Desiree's tires.
Well, Desiree, you have a whole notebook full of things that we were going to cover. What else?
I never get to my notebook.
I
don't
know.
why I even try.
I see something about Viagra and Cialis on there.
Let's hear.
That's a
I mean, you have those in very big letters.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned it. Okay, the reason I have those on there is what I wanted to make sure I said was, so I deal with older daddies. And so my whole goal was to try to come on the podcast and to try to convince and urge younger sugar babies to open their age range. I actually spoke to a couple of younger sugar babies and just out of curiosity, hey, what's your age range? And they topped off, sometimes like 45, 50. And I was like, no, you gotta go further than that. So there's certain fears and concerns that are there. And so I've wanted to kind of burst through the door of those and say, oh, no, don't worry about it, because you guys have said it on several prior podcasts that there's some folks that are 60 or 70 and they have a young feel to them. There's some folks that are 20 that have an older feel. Mm-hmm. So you can't really put an age range on anyone. And so just if you're on Seeking and you have your range set or have something written in your profile, just try to be more open-minded and consider some of the older sugar daddies have provided me with the better experiences. There's the more maturity, a lot more gentle. And sometimes the older guys, and by older, I mean like older, there's really not a whole bunch of legwork on the sexual side. And so I know some of us want to romp all night, but sometimes I've worked a long day and I don't need 3 hours of every position on earth and all this stuff. Like just a little bit here and there, I'm done. But one thing I've noticed is that some older guys use the Viagra and the Cialis and all that. But for some reason, to me, it just feels kind of like inauthentic to me. Like it feels almost like someone just has like a dildo and they're just pushing it in there, just thrusting it in there. So to me, I just wonder, are they feeling anything? How long is this going to go? To me, it just doesn't feel like it's for real.
So the sensuality is missing?
Yeah.
And you think that's a side effect of the drugs?
Well, yeah, because they'll obviously take it, usually, especially if I have a relationship with them, they'll be like, oh, time to down the hatch, And so I know why, and I understand, but I feel like sometimes it makes it almost unnatural to where it either lasts for way too long or it's way too big or way too many positions. And where I know in real life, this would long since have been over with by now, like we were just doing this regular. So sometimes it just makes me feel like I'm just kind of with like a male blow up doll or something, because they're just going and they're just hammering and they're going and they're smiling and they're happy because they're thinking, okay, well, she's younger than me, so she's going to want me.
She's loving it.
Yeah, they want me to be like a younger man and just go and go and go and go. And in reality, I don't really like that at all, especially if you're entertaining oral or anything else, because you gauge if you're doing it right or if you're doing it how they want it based on the reaction. But if they're on some sort of medicated, like if I have an edible or something, I already know I'm on a whole nother level. So, one little lick and I'm like, but it's, it's like, is that real?
Wish you guys could have seen that face.
Or is that the edible? Like, what is that? You're not going to get a true gauge on, does she like that? Does she not like that? Because there's some sort of medicinal intervention. So with the Viagras and all of that, it just throws me off. It hurts my ability to learn what the person really likes, what positions work for us. And then also, I want to know, how soon can we get back to Netflix? Because the new Cat Williams special is on. You're going. So I just want guys to know this. Every younger woman does not require this 3-4 hour session of just all night, all the time, every position. Just sometimes that's just not necessary. Like, I'm actually thankful at times for a short hit and quit.
I get it. Now, ironically, let's dispel another myth, because I know a lot of women think that these older men aren't going to have a strong libido.
Oh, and they sure do.
Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
The oldest guy that I ever dated, my little old man, I affectionately refer to him as my little old man, 75 years old. I have never met anyone with a more voracious sexual appetite, and that little dude could go the distance.
I had a 75-year-old bend me over a table in Rocky Point on the patio facing the beach. I had to look back at him and say, my back's hurting a little bit, baby. It's like, he's 75, I'm 41. My back hurting is what ended the session. So I'm right there with you, Lily. And I don't think he had any Viagra. That was just old fashioned 75.
And horny as fuck.
I was like, let's just get some Chardonnay. Let me just refresh. Let me get like, I couldn't keep up, Lily. I was the one struggling.
Yeah, you know, when I was younger, I always wondered if I was going to lose it. And here I am, 56, and even though we don't do it 3 to 5 times a day, I could, and we have. But it was really funny because I used to be a professional photographer, and when I was in my early 20s, we had a studio, and my mom had it until the day she died. But I was telling somebody this story today. We used to do high school reunion photos. That was one of the jobs we did in our little small town. They'd get the high school reunion together. And even at like the 50-year high school reunion, so everybody's around 68 years old, 67, 68, it was like herding cats. They fall right back into their high school mentality. They still look at each other just like they did when they were in high school. So I don't know if we ever really grow up. We just get older.
Oh, that's true.
And fortunately for a lot of us, our libido is like, 19, 20, 25-year-old boy. Now,
yeah, that's not an issue at all to me when it comes to, if there's younger sugar babies who are concerned about opening their age range because of that aspect, then I'm just here to tell you, go ahead and scratch that off the list because the sexual piece, that's going to be there one way or another. So if that's your hesitancy, please don't be hesitant because of that.
Well, there's a old country song about older women make beautiful lovers, but I think older gentlemen make beautiful lovers.
Yeah, and they're less like insane, especially when it comes to oral. Like young guys, they come down there chomping.
Okay.
They want to try to chomp. Like older guys, they know how to go in there nice and gentle.
Yeah, and that's something
it's better, man.
Something that the older guys do better, and they've learned most of the time, is take it slow. You don't need to be in a hurry.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get her off as quick as possible. Just make the moment last.
And the slow, actually, for me, makes it much quick.
Same for me.
Yeah, it's more sensual.
I'm done instantly almost with the slow.
Which is easier for everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Then we got Netflix going.
But we do have to address something that, unfortunately, with age comes some ED issues. And so, according to Dr. Sex Fairy and most reports, about 60 to 70% of the men in their 60s and 70s are dealing with something. So how do you manage it when a guy actually needs to have an injection or a pill? Mm-hmm. Do you just communicate with? Fortunately, I haven't been there, so I haven't had those experiences yet. Maybe one day I'll be there, and I hope not, but I'm not discounting it. But I think communication about it is just so important.
Yeah,
a lot of men are embarrassed about it.
The guys I deal with, they're not. Like, we'll be at dinner, they'll be opening up their pill package. Like I'd be like right there, at the dinner table. They've been really open about it, and I'm just like, okay, no problem.
I think all of the ones that I've dated that needed some type of assistance, be it injections or pills or whatever, have let me know prior to intimacy and not just sprung it on me. And I so appreciate that because it's nice to know what you're working with, what you're looking at, what they need of you, and what you can expect. So
yeah, I have no problem with it whatsoever. And I make light of it. They make light of it. Mm-hmm. It just lets me know I need to do some stretching because they're going to hit me with the 3-hour
do some stretching.
The 3-hour session. As soon as I see that pill pop, I'm like, oh, let me get my jump rope.
There you go. All right. Anything you want to wrap up with? We got just a couple minutes left.
No, I think that's all. Just, anyone who's on the fence about the Patreon, definitely jump on there because it's starting to heat up and we're on there.
Fun,
we're letting loose and it's
kind of, if you don't know what it is, and some people still are a little bit hesitant because they don't know what it is, it's kind of like a Facebook group just for us. Except
just
it's
for
not
those
Facebook.
in the sugar bowl.
Yeah, you don't have to be so secretive and so hidden about everything. It's relief.
And we have a lot of pictures and videos that we post on there that we would never put on Instagram or Facebook. These are more personal, a little bit more catered to the sugar dating world, a little more focused, I guess you would say. And then plus, you get to hear all the extra sugars and episodes before anybody else, which is kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Were you able to listen to your episode before it came out?
I sure was.
So you were prepared
to
hear what the public was going to hear?
I know. I was surprised, though. I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty good.
Well, the nice thing is there's been a couple times, and it still happens, where they'll comment like, hey, you missed something on this one, or there's a
Yes, thank
name.
God.
And so I actually appreciate our Patreon members a lot.
Every once in a while, something gets through.
Gets through
both
you
of
and
us.
me.
Yeah, quality control over there.
I know. Sometimes it just slips up. Well, I'm so used to hearing names sometimes I don't catch that it
Everybody
got
has
through.
two names and
I
it gets
know.
confusing. I'm like, wait a minute, is that the real name or is that the podcast name?
Yeah.
I know. And I'll put something on the Patreon about the PRK versus LASIK. We didn't have time to get into that, but I had this PRK procedure instead of the LASIK. And, it's a whole situation. So I wanted to make sure
How long is the recovery on that?
Well, it can take up to 30 days
Yeah.
for full recovery.
What was your diagnosis?
Well, I was going in for LASIK, but they told me my corneas were too thin to qualify for LASIK. So then they suggested the PRK. And I was telling Lily before we started that the PRK is what they consider the OG of vision correction surgery. That was kind of the hot thing even before LASIK, because LASIK actually cuts a flap into the cornea versus where PRK, they actually like burn off the cornea and then they fix the issues and then the cornea has to rejuvenate, which is why I've been blind for about 6 days.
That's why it takes so long to recover.
Now, how much did that procedure cost? Because you said a sugar daddy paid for that.
Sure did. Thank you. $2,500 an eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
for the
got
PRK.
both eyes done?
I sure did.
Now, was that your billionaire that paid for that?
It was.
He's a sweetheart.
He really
That's
is.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I've financed a few breast enhancement jobs. So,
Have you really?
Yeah.
How many?
Two.
Two?
Yeah.
Chucker's about to finance me.
Yes, I heard.
Me getting a lift because it's that time in
Yeah.
Lily's life where
Let me know who you go with because things are a little
so
questionable in this area.
here's the deal. This is really interesting. So he says, if it really bothers you, let's take care of it. Because, gravity has really taken its toll on Lily. And so I started looking and researching and starting to go out and talk to people and have consultations.
Okay.
And I was like, let's look up my original breast augmentation doctor because I'm sure he's retired, but I just want to see if I can look him up. I looked him up. He's still practicing.
Okay.
I went and did a consultation with him. That man has been practicing since I think 1996. He has done hundreds of thousands of procedures. And so I'm going to go with him again because I was
Very good.
very happy with the first time.
Yeah.
I just didn't do the lift because I was young and supple at that time. And now I'm not. So he's going to make me young and supple again.
So we're going to see a new and improved Lily at the party, right?
Yeah, I might still be on pain meds, but
Oh, that'd be even better.
That would be worth seeing all in itself. So if you guys haven't signed up yet, we encourage you to go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. Come party with us. We want to see you there. Desiree will be there.
I'll be looking for you, Van Boy.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to make it, though. I think Van Boy's already got some.
oh yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
if he's coming to the party.
I think he said he's already got some obligations, but.
But if you like traveling, he loves traveling. And
I do.
if you like van life,
He's got a nice van.
He does both kinds of traveling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Not just van only.
not just van only. But I bet he'd fly you out to somewhere and you could do some van things.
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
All right. Well, if you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories or if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear them at secretsofasugardaddy.com. Always love a follow on Instagram. And again, our Patreon group is happening. You'll see a link to it at the bottom of this episode. And we also have it at the very top of our website. It's very, very easy to find. Even if you join as a free member, we do throw some things in there for our free members. So we would love to have you as a part of the family. All right. Again, Desiree, thank you so much.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Lily, looking lovely as all. We got to get a picture of you today.
Yeah, we'll get a group photo.
Oh, you look great. Okay. Until next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.